blade in there. We switched around the tines. It took forever. He's mad I planted in the row. Whatever. I took a picture. It'll be the thumbnail to the video. But by removing some tines, and then he added this saw blade to our BCS rototiller. The goal is to just cut an edge right there on the garden line, because we have encroaching invasives and grass, of course, and the aesthetic and attention to the perimeter. Anyone knows, if you care, it adds to the overall frequency. I don't know if that's what it is. Peace upon entering this space. So, there's rock, there's clay. Look at my potatoes. We amended. We did soil analysis. The aluminum bumped up again. 200 parts per million. Three sisters right here. My cabbage is looking beautiful. I haven't been successful with cabbage because either pH or mineral imbalance, but we got it. Cross my fingers. Anything can go wrong. It can all die overnight, but I love the process. The pole beans, they were root bound because I started them in March, but we got them in. They look good now. We added, we've had 3 rounds of mineralization here. So this year we added quite a bit of feather meal and lime, of course. We added manganese, boron, and zinc because they were low. It's interesting how calcium and magnesium work together. He's pointing. So loud, but that's how it is. I got sunflowers in. I got hella burdock back there because I tried to sell it elsewhere. No one bought it. Whatever. I'm going to grow it. Burdock draws up minerals, period. And we will study along the season the burdock where I planted it by various crops, how much, I'm going to record it. Is there more mineral content in the plant that the burdock grows next to? We're going to see this year because I'm on it. Garlic looks great. I put burdock every 18 inches. We'll see. We do have some peas. If you hit it right by June 1, you're eating peas. And that's what's going to I already ate one. It's the 31st. The hoop house is filled with red peppers, hot peppers, a lot of paste tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, yellow slicers, and basil. I love the basil. Most of them are strung up. I did some dripping, slow drip, to get those roots to go down. Looks like Brien's backing up. These are all the plants that I tried to sell in the past month that didn't. They were all like bad, so I took them home. I think they'll be fine. The BCS is the Cadillac of all rototillers. The plan on tilling this stuff was to further mound the potatoes up. Right there. I've been adding grass clippings to hold the dirt. We could have taken the shroud off so you see what's happening in there. Let's see if when it goes by. Turn off your volume. I sprouted some store-bought garlic right there, and I had it in the little greenhouse that is shaded by all these trees, so I don't get much sun in there, but it's a warm space. Transplanted a couple days ago just to see what would happen. We don't know. Cilantro. I've had trouble just like direct seeding, so this guy was transplanted, and all the ones I transplanted look like this right now. I just started picking at the sides. I think the center is just gonna like burst up. These are more corn bean squash. Fava beans are great because the leaves are edible. They're nitrogen fixers. They're pretty. The flowers are edible as well. And they make a ton of seed. These are some extra cabbages that I had, and I'm just seeing, it's partly shady in this area, along with some arugula. This area I'm trying to protect some beans. There are so many birds in there. They just dig them right up and eat them. If they're past sprouting, then they don't mess with them. But if you soak a bean, put it in the ground, a bird is going to get it, or a squirrel. Out this way. So Brien cut this line earlier. Let's see what this perimeter looks like. There's my red celery. Looking good. A little more burdock. I just planted some turnips. This was an overwinter skill cult recommendation. Plant the carrot seed in January, February. Keep it covered. I've got 3 or 4. I don't know. It might work in California. There's some beets in there. These are my yellow Parma onions, storage keepers. More lettuces. The burdock wound up there. Some carrots from the I planted those in the fall. They're going to seed right now. I'll catch the seed. Carrot seed tea. Carrot seed oil. Just like same along the lines of the celery seed. They're medicinal. So this is the hedge that Brien was pissed at, that I'm just encroaching on the fence line with the peas. He was afraid he was going to tear it all down. This is an interesting watercress. It's going to seed. It was hardy. It overwintered. Oh, this is how we turn off our machine. We short it out.
So, years ago, I was going to call a landscaping business, around here,
Oh,
the border. So we removed the acetylines, put a circular saw blade on, kind of have these guys orientated. So we're intensively tilling this side. The circular saw blade cuts that crisp edge.
sure.
And what I am referring to is the border. It's a drag in the summertime. The weeds infiltrate. And this material here will, a lot of the weeds will die in the sun, in the heat that we have coming this week, and then we can use that material to hill up the potatoes. And when we cut the border, the grass outer path, it will look somewhat neat, tidy, pristine, and that's what this contraption was designed for, converting it from the traditional full tines in the spring and fall rototilling to initially the border edge, and then we'll move to, as the foliage between the rows starts encroaching, we can bring a short wheelbase as wide as the wheels to the tines, and we can go down these rows with the foliage and still cultivate, which is helpful to keep the hardened surface from, being like cement, and cuts down on some of the weeding.
Right.
But when it does rain, the rain penetrates a loose texture to the soil better than a hardened surface that kind of resembles concrete. So what we tried doing on that far edge was going to be an additional video. Jenna got her measuring tape math off a little bit. This is too far that way. That one's too tight. So we're going to try a 3-horse Honda grass edger. So it's a spinning piece of flat bar steel this long, and we're going to see if we can cut that edge, because again, the encroachment, we got all these obstacles like this 1930s coach bus. Well, that's quack grass, and the roots are very tenacious.
Yeah. They're just growing right up. You see it?
Yeah, so you don't want to have that getting into your plant area. So we're going to cut it and maybe do a little hand weeding this year, but next year, now that we have created this, I need 8 inches from the grass edge, free of irrigation pipes and plantings, and I can maintain my edge. So that'll do for today's lecture from the PNW.
That's right. And for those interested in potted potato experiments, this is what I'm doing. I'm adding mulch, and I plan on, as it keeps shooting up, to add more to see if it becomes a potato tower. We'll see. I'll report back soon. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy your spring.
As we will.
As we do. Goodbye.